Good afternoon, YouTube pipe smokers. Prairie Piper here. Minus 29 outside, pretty cold. I got the door open here for some light. And it's pretty chilly. I do have the heater on, but when it gets to anything past minus 30, once it hits those temperatures, kind of all bets are off unless you've got a giant heater in the garage, which I don't. But today's review, pipe tobacco review, is going to be on Baren's HH Bold Kentucky. And kind of maybe just go over comparing it a little bit to Old Dark Fired, because they're very similar. So I've been smoking this all week. That's what's in the pipe now. Been smoking the pipe for about 10 or 15 minutes. It's really good stuff. Smoking it in a BST, Briar Sweat and Tears pipe, sandblasted by Todd Bannard in Carstairs, Alberta. Gorgeous pipe. I love his pipes. Phenomenal. Fantastic smoker too. Well, they're all good smokers. Okay, I'll put this down and show you the flakes, and we'll get into this. So, HH Bold Kentucky, Baren, as most of you know, it's going away very fast. Like fast as in, I think a month or two, it's finished. It may even be less than that because I don't know how much they've even got left in the warehouse. My understanding is that it's just about gone. So I am reviewing this though. I typically will stay away from reviewing stuff, tobaccos that are kind of unattainable. But I think there's a lot of this out there. You know, it's not like it's esoteric. I know you can say, or germanes. I know there's a lot of that out there. People have it. But I think there's still a chance to get some of this, first of all, over the next few weeks. And I think a lot, a lot of people have it, and I think you're probably able to make trades for it. So, hopefully, they're not asking an arm and a leg for it. So it's basically Virginia and Dark Fired, both the Bold Kentucky and the Old Dark Fired. They are similar, that's for sure, and I'll show you a flake of Bold Kentucky, and I'll show you a flake of the Old Dark Fired. And they're pretty similar. I'm not even sure you're going to be able to tell the difference. So the Bold Kentucky is this one, and the Old Dark Fired is this one. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but from my vantage point here, the Bold Kentucky is darker, which makes sense because, I gotta put that on the right one. By all accounts, it's supposed to be a heavier smoke, a stronger smoke, not just nicotine hit, but also flavor-wise. And I can attest to that. I do agree with that. Some people say that they don't find a difference between the two. I've even seen some reviews that think Old Dark Fired is stronger in nicotine and in taste. For me, it's definitely the Bold Kentucky. So give you a tin note jar note here. Similar to Old Dark Fired, you get that vinegar, ketchup, barbecue sweetness. Old leather, old shoe leather. Some citrus, probably from the Bright Virginias in there. Musty kind of damp almost. Some people have also said that they find the Bold Kentucky, here it is here. Some people find the Bold Kentucky sweeter, and I think I have to agree with that. But comparing the two tin jar notes, this is the Old Dark Fired, The old, by the way, these are both a year old. They're both from November 2024, 2023, sorry. It's weird. The old dark fire to me is, yeah, less sweet. Just kind of that smoky barbecue, almost kind of slightly less vinegar smell. But I think that's because this jar, the tin was opened. I only opened the Bold Kentucky a week ago. So the oxygen has kind of changed the tin note a bit. But they are very similar in smell. They are very similar in taste. I'm just gonna put that over here, get these out of the way. So, like I said, um, they're both Virginia and dark fried Kentucky. The bold Kentucky is supposed to be stronger. Some people also believe it's a sweeter smoke. I agree with that. I think the bold Kentucky is stronger. Again, in the nicotine, I can't, it doesn't affect me, so I don't know. People have said that, and it is in the description of the tin, it says it's the boldest, the strongest. And usually when they say strongest, um, they mean nicotine wise. So be aware of that. Depending on how your body reacts to nicotine, it may or may not be an issue. But it definitely is, in my opinion, um, heavier smoke. There's definitely seems to be more dark fried Kentucky in the bold Kentucky, and I do agree with other reviewers that say it tastes sweeter. I think I agree with that too. So let's light her up here, see what we get, or relight rather. Lots of thick, heavy smoke. Really nice. Again, not overly complex. Complex. This is my first time having a bold Kentucky. I'm a big fan of the old dark fired. This is my first time trying a bold Kentucky, and I like it. I think I like it better. It's fairly one-dimensional. Again, I don't mean that in a negative sense, right? It only has Virginia and dark fired Kentucky. It's a heavy smoke. You feel it in the back of your throat. You'll also feel it, at least for me, several hours later. Now, I retrohale too, so that might be why. But the it being a heavier smoke, thicker smoke, it does have a tendency to kind of sit in the back of the throat for a while, at least for me. I don't mind that, but if you're used to lighter tobaccos, you may want to stay away from this one. So you get that. It's hard to describe. You ever gone into um, like an old barn, like a really, really old barn that the wood's been dried out for like, 80 or 90 years. And that wood has a smell to it. I can't really describe it. But you go into an old barn and it's kind of dry and musty, kind of hay-like, but the wood in the building is kind of taken on its own character. And to me, that's kind of what all these, the old dark fired and the Bold Kentucky here kind of sort of take on a life of their own. I don't get an overly vinegar ketchup type taste. It's just sort of dark, heavy, tasty smoke. If that makes sense, it's tasty smoke. Um, and every once in a while, it doesn't matter for me at least. Doesn't matter if you take small sips, although it does help, I guess. But every once in a while, if you take small sips, or every once in a while, just within the as the blend, as the bowl burns down, you get a sweetness. So it kind of teases you. You get a heavy, thick, um, dark smoke, pleasant smoke, and then you get a hit of sort of a little bit of citrus, a little bit of hay, and then it sort of dissipates back into the background. It's a dry smoke, a dry woody smoke, not a wet smoke. You know, like an oily latakia. I rub my flakes out. Burns fantastic from the top of the bowl to the bottom of the bowl. So the mechanics of it for me. There are a few relights, like I'll probably relight it again now. So it does require, I find, a little bit of work, and I've heard other people say the same thing. I don't mind that though; it doesn't bother me. Fantastic with a cup of coffee, as darker, heavier tobaccos often are, whether it's a Latakia or dark fired or a heavy Perique blend. They usually go really good with a cup of coffee, which I've got. Okay. Mm. Just had a blast of citrus there from the Virginia. So I'm going to pause this, smoke a little bit more of the bowl, and we'll come back and we'll wrap this up. Okay, I'm back. I tell a lie. If you do sip on this, you do actually get a lot more of the Virginias. You get kind of a honey, hay, citrus, sugary sweetness, which is very, very pleasant. If you sip it, you'll get the forward flavors of the Virginia mixed in with the barbecue, beef jerky, leather, musty, earthy um, taste of the dark fired. A larger draw is gonna, I don't know, smothers maybe the wrong word, but takes the Virginia, puts it in the back seat, and the dark fired starts to drive the truck, so to speak. So small sips going to give you the sweetness. Larger sip, larger draw is going to put the Bold Kentucky in the front seat. So only thing I've noticed about this too is not negative. This happens with a lot of my smokes because I smoke large bowls. Halfway down, you're going to get a lot of ash that's going to sit on the top of the bowl. Some people like the ash and they like to just smoke it down. They don't like to sort of mess around with the mechanics um, of the uh, of the um, of the smoke itself. I'm just going to tip this down a bit. I tend to believe that the ash chokes out some of the flavor. So what I do, I'll make another video of this, but just since I'm talking about it already, when I get ash buildup in my bowl, and like I said, I use larger bowls, I take the pick from the check tool and I just scratch the ash loose as much as I can without really, greatly disrupting the initial pack. And then I tap it out on the side of I got a pipe bowl here, and then I just dump it out. And then what I'll do is I'll use the pick just to sort of gently pick the top of the tobacco, not to repack it or disrupt the previous pack, but just to sort of level out the tobacco again, because you're going to get a bit of a small crater in there. Level it out again and then light up. And it's going to give you a heck of a lot more flavor back, which I like. Some guys don't like that. They want to keep the smoke in the pack totally intact from the top of the bowl to the bottom. But you're going to get more flavor, more of a flavor punch if you kind of relight the tobacco and remove the ash afterwards. So try it out, see what you think. If you like it, great. If you don't do it. The only other thing that I'll say about I found about the dark fired blends, I had the opportunity to buy more of this stuff. I have a few tins already, so I'm stocked up as much as I'd like. The reason I didn't buy more of this when I had the opportunity to, and I do like the Bold Kentucky more than the old dark fired, now that I've had it, is it doesn't, See, I'm gonna say it doesn't age well, but what I mean by that is for me, it ages fantastic, but it doesn't get better with longer age. So what I mean is every tobacco has an age, and most of them have an age on them. Like most blends have an age. I was talking to a colleague just a few days ago about cellaring, and there is, sure you can cellar tobacco for 10, 20, 30 years, but some blends have a best by date. I know it's not stamped on there, but what I mean by that is um, a couple of months ago when I did the old dark fired review, the tin that I did, I think it was from 2012. So what's that? 13 years ago. Um, it had it smoothed out a lot. It was a little richer and it smoothed out the edges, rounded out the edges, right? But I had found that it was aged too long. It took the kick, the roughness out of the Kentucky that I personally like, right? So for me, and you're gonna have to experiment with this. For me, I'm gonna say probably 5 or 6 years on the tin for me aged, and I want to pull it out of the cellar and start smoking it. So I try to only cellar stuff that I knew is going to be, fairly good long term, which is typically Virginia Periques, I find, and some Latakias, that you can kind of keep for 10, 12, 15 years. Although, some people, you're right, if you're heavy into Latakia, the Latakia runs out of steam for some people too after 5, 10, 15 years. So you kind of just have to know what you like to smoke and know your own flavor profile and sort of what ages well for you and what doesn't, and kind of um, you know kind of keep a track of what's your cellar that sort of needs to be smoked within the next few years and stuff you can kind of leave for maybe that 10 to 15 year period. So anyways, hope you enjoyed that. That's all that I got. Enjoy your weekend. Final thoughts, I guess. Love the HH series. It's going away. I still think it's going to be accessible for people in terms of trading. And at least you might be able to get a hold of some tins in the next 4, 5, 6 weeks if you like it. But between the Bold Kentucky and the old Dark Fired, I do like the Bold Kentucky more. It's more of just a beefed up, aggressive version of Old Dark Fired. It's sweeter, stronger in taste, apparently has more nicotine. Like I said, it doesn't affect me. It's one of the heavier set tobaccos that you can still get out there for now, but not much longer. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Take care, guys. Prairie Piper out.